Welcome to the Mashup.
Tell me whether I'm wrong or right. East or west, up or down, side to side. I sit to stand and fall to fly. Of all of my impulsive plans, pop and lock and salsa dances on demand. I follow leading off the map and stop the chatter, scream happily.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Welcome to the mashup. Welcome to the welcome to the mashup.
Welcome to the Mashup.
So Tooz forgot his rant for today. So what does he do? I'm sitting here working away. No, Tooz has got to put me on screen. And that's funny. Well done, sir. Well done. My rant for the day is I'm going to tick Tooz off at some point because he put some weeks we have like, I don't know. Is it 50 headlines? Is it 75? I don't even know anymore. Today I roll in. Tooz has like 5 sheets of headlines. I'm like, all right. So I'm just working through it. I'm like, at some point he snuck something in there. There's no way I could have possibly found it. I'm not even upset. I'm just like, this is going to be a mashup where Sean annoys the heck out of Tooz because I'm going to keep trying to roll along like I normally do. And then just be like, you're missing things. You're missing things. I'm going to be like, if I could reach through and punch you, I would today. But I know it's all by design. It's all part of the plan of a Tooz Friday. Here
Also,
we are.
We got a hard
180.
stop at 11:30, so keep filibustering.
Perfect. I'm gonna filibust all the way to 11:30. So Tooz is really annoyed because I'm sure he's like, "There's a full week. There's a crazy amount of stuff going on." Yeah, no kidding, Tooz. I got it. Mashup 180. Welcome aboard, everyone. Here we are. Your favorite duo. Somebody offered. Have you guys thought about going to marriage counseling? I chuckled. I mean, do you want us to get better? Do you want us to actually? What do you think, Tooz? I want to hear your thoughts. How are your emotions doing today?
You know what? It's nice that you finally asked.
Yeah, I don't care. Mashup 180. If you like the show, this is your time to like, share,
fine.
get a rooster shirt, get a rooster tattoo, get a rooster something, like, share, smuggle 72 roosters across the American border. Yes. Wherever you're watching, share it out, folks. We appreciate all the help. We rely on you fine folks to get it out to more people. Good morning, Bonnie. Good morning, Glenn. Good morning, Zane. Happy cold, rainy mashings day from the Lake Mirroring Chesters. Did I say that right? I think I said that right. Okay,
Yeah.
we have a full show. Tooz, how are you doing? Mashup 180. I should allow you to say something here.
Oh, I'm doing good, but we do got to get going with this. So what if we
hard
start
stop?
off...
We got a hard stop, Tooz?
Yep.
Tooz
Yep.
with the hard stop? Interesting. Filibuster away, Sean. How's everybody doing out there? Send me some things to read. Okay. Happy Airborne Friday to all the airborne boys out there. Jamie Sinclair, military vets. As everyone knows, we got a ton of time for the Canadian military. How about we start here, Tooz? I'll bring up my screen. It says, we are the dead, posting on X.
Just real quick, I'd rather we talk about the one that's retweeted first.
Okay.
So
This one, Peter, Private John Henry Campbell. That's Canadian Infantry, Canadian Expeditionary Force, August 27th, 1918, age 20.
So this account has been, I don't know, it's been way longer than I've been up on Twitter. And just every once in a while, it would come across my feed. This is the name of somebody who died serving this country. Here's who they fought with. Here's when it happened, and here's how old they were. And so, see it, awesome, like it, retweet it. And then all of a sudden you see this out of nowhere. You see, this is the last post of 119,836 names of Canadian Armed Forces members who died while serving, bringing an end to this online roll call that began on Remembrance Day 14 years ago. So, you just see this and you're like, okay, well, they're tweeting about this, and then, that's good. I like it. And then you realize at the very end that this has just been going through the entire list of everybody, and it's been doing it for 14 years. It was pretty moving. Anyways, it was a good twist at the end. Craziest part of the twist, though, you look at their account, automated by Glenn McGregor. Glenn McGregor is the guy who ran this account. For those of you who don't know, Glenn McGregor is a legacy media shill who you can see he has me blocked. That's because of a bunch of interactions we had during the convoy where I was calling out how he was intentionally misrepresenting things. And yet at the same time, he's also the guy who did that entire list. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have mixed feelings.
All right. Coots 6.5. Canadian man on house arrest for sexually assaulting his sister-in-law, now to serve 33 months in prison. It says man originally given house arrest after admitting drugging, sexually assaulting, and taking nude photos of his blacked out sister-in-law will now spend time in federal prison. So ruled an appeals court judge.
Also, to be clear, she was blacked out because he roofied her.
Well, I was going to get to that. So ruled an appeals court judge who overturned a provincial court decision from earlier this year that allowed Fort St. John veterinarian Justin Donald Sewell to serve his 33-month conditional sentence currently at home with his wife and 4 children out of town. Sewell, on the pretense of offering his sister-in-law a safe environment for her to get drunk for the first time, proceeded to spike her drink with drugs. Once incapacitated, he stripped her bare, pleasured himself, and then got naked and pressed his body against hers. He also took about 30 photos of her naked, including one with his genitalia near her face.
Yes. And for that, he got 33 months in prison. As opposed to Anthony Olenek, who got 6.5 years.
Yeah. Conservatives, liberals spar over competing visions of bail reform. Conservatives and liberal MPs sparred Thursday in the House of Commons over reforms to Canada's bail system as the official opposition emphasizing crime early in the fall sitting. The Conservatives introduced a motion call on the Liberal government to implement a 3 strikes and you're out law aimed at stopping criminals convicted of serious offenses from getting bail, probation, parole, or house arrest. And if I scroll to the next headline,
so that got shot down a month ago.
Mm-hmm. And now bail reform targeting violent crime coming next week. Carney says the federal government will propose bail reform legislation aimed at cracking down on violent crime and repeat offenders. Prime Minister Mark Carney said on Thursday.
So we'll see. Maybe we'll finally have a few less Coots 6.5 articles to talk about.
Yes. Toronto Crime Watch. I can pull this up here. I don't know if anyone wants to read along with me, but Ontario Provincial Police arrest 2 Brampton men in possession of 72 smuggled handguns. 2 Brampton residents are facing multiple criminal code charges related to weapons trafficking following an 8-month investigation by police. If I scroll down,
Balraj Singh and Kyle Wilbur Singh. Sing with me, sing for the ears, sing for the laughter, sing for the tears.
There you go. Twos, did I miss any in the criminal?
Oh, yes.
Coots 6.5. I'm sure I did.
All right. Here we go. Well, that wasn't part of the Coots 6.5. This is just getting into some other stuff. Over $400,000 worth of stolen mail recovered in Mississauga, 8 people charged. Now, 8 suspects have been identified as Sumanpreet Singh, Gurdeep Chadha, Jashandeep Jatana, Harman Singh, Jasanpreet Singh, Manroop Singh, Rajbir Singh, and Upinderjit Singh. So they stole $400,000 worth of mail. I can't even imagine, given how... Why are you muting me?
So that I don't get echo.
Oh.
I'm not muting you. I'm muting your screen because I, for some reason, getting echo on it.
Oh, okay. Oh, and then it's probably also showing up in the feed too. Remember when we had that one episode where it did that?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm just fixing problems on this side, too. That's what I do.
Given how worthless Canada Post is, can you just imagine the amount of just the mass and the volume of mail that has to be stolen to amount to $400,000? It boggles the mind. And then here's the next one. Edmonton police seize $60,000 opium poppies from field behind acreage.
I, like you folks, am seeing this for the first time. That's a wild story.
Mm-hmm. Now, I can't remember if it was in here or not, but here is Charged are Sukhdeep Danoa, Sandeep Dhanwal, Gurpreet Singh, and Kawinder Singh. Okay. So first off, okay, I have two main thoughts on this. If your name is Sukhdeep and you live in India, why would you move to Canada? Like, first off, change your name. But secondly, even if you're not going to change your name, you don't move to a place where the primary language spoken, your name means to put somebody's penis into the back of your throat. I mean, if Sean happened to be the Spanish word for wrapping lips around a hammer, I don't think you'd be moving to Puerto Vallarta. Secondly, this is atrocious. These men are patriots. It wasn't very long ago that Don Cherry called people out and he said, "You people come to this country and you don't have any appreciation for us, and you can't even buy a poppy." And these people took that and they ran with it. They come to this country, they want to embrace our culture, and so they grow 60,000 poppies right before Remembrance Day, and they get locked up because of it. This is atrocious.
I guess I'm not moving to Puerto Vallarta. Carry on.
Well, that was it. Okay. Let's
That was
see,
I had nothing else.
What's the next one? Okay. Did you see this one?
Oh yes.
Okay. All right. Calgary police is looking for help identifying 3 people believed to be responsible for stealing a credit card and then racking up $23,500 worth of fraudulent charges on it. They also stole this from the mail.
There they are.
Yes. Okay. First male suspect, wearing black baseball cap, white hoodie. Second male suspect is described as having a medium build, dark hair, and a beard. Female suspect is described as having a medium build. This is the state of this country in 2025, Sean. Everything has gone completely off the rails. In 2025, this is a woman described as having a medium build.
Can I just say, every week I show up on a Friday wondering how Tooze is going to twist it and in his brain of what he's going to be upset with. It is now the description of a medium build woman. That's
a high calorie human, Sean.
All right. Fair enough. We have a high calorie human at large.
Well, she's definitely not at medium.
I guess I'm having a good day on this side, considering the crapshoot of 180 this is going to be. Okay. GTA condo market falls to a 35-year low, reports show. Only 319 units were sold in the third quarter of 2025, down 54% compared with the same period last year and 92% below the 10-year average for this time. Well, the number of sales is the lowest it has been in 35 years. The number of condo projects that were canceled after starting construction was a record high. According to the report, 10 projects with a total of 2,499 units were canceled in 3 months.
Well, that's not a medium build.
Bringing the total number of cancellations this year to 18 projects at over 4,000 units.
Yeah. So anyway, we've just been touching on this a little bit here and there. Here's one that got snuck in the middle. 4 undocumented workers identified at Calgary's event center site. So this is where they're building what's basically the new Saddle Dome. You can see just a hint of the old Saddle Dome in the corner. Great place to go if you want to see some quality hockey. And this new one that they're building, apparently we're doing it with illegal immigrants. So we're using taxpayer money to fund billionaire business centers with the construction being done by illegal immigrants. This is the kind of headline you would expect to read in Dubai. Like, what are we just going to put their passports?
I would expect nothing less from Calgary.
Careful, we got Edmonton stuff coming up too, buddy.
Premier Wab Canoe hired Richard Madden in June to run the province's trade office in Washington. Today, Canoe's office disclosed Madden is making $387,000 a year. Madden worked in the CBC News Washington Bureau for 2 years before taking on his new role. Manitoba's progressive conservative leader pointed out today that Madden is making nearly as much as the Prime Minister Mark Carney. Carney earns $406,000 a year. You can show the video if you prefer to.
Yeah. I just want to show this real quick, and everybody who's watching along, take a quick look at this gentleman here, and then let's get to this. Is
He's got the smarts.
Order.
He's got the looks.
He's got the looks. He's got the looks, folks. What exact looks are you talking about, Wab Canoe? Are you out of your damn mind? This is the same medium build bullshit all over again.
Not a high calorie human, at least. Here, let's take a look at a little. Where are you at, Food Professor? Here we go. Oh, you got it up. Of course, you got it up. All right, Food Professor. The bloodbath continues, according to Toronto Star. Nestle Canada won't say how many Canadian jobs will be lost. In Canada, the company employs over 3,500 people across about 12 locations, including 2 manufacturing plants. This likely means some jobs will be lost. This comes off a recent, a different post. The Food Professor had said Nestle is cutting 16,000 jobs globally, one of the biggest layoffs in the food consumer goods sector in decades.
Yeah. I wonder what the elbow draggers have to say about this.
What does Twos have to say about this?
Twos says that Canada has by far, like by such a huge margin, it's not even close. It's got something like 90% of the world's fresh water. So a place like Nestle, like anything dealing with beverages or of any kind, should just find this to be such an easy place to do business in. And if they're not, it's because the legislation is preventing them from doing it effectively here. That's it. We're basically like the DRC has most of the world's cobalt. We've got most of the world's fresh water. All the cobalt mines are in the DRC. All the water, all the places that do all the fancy water and bottles and everything like that, unless it's something where it's specifically coming from that Evian mountain or Fiji specifically, this is where you would expect it all to be. And Nestle had a big deal somewhere on Vancouver Island a while ago, and everybody was all mad that they were getting all this water for free. And you're like, we have shit tons of it, and they bring a lot of commerce here by having these set up. Maybe we should encourage that.
Carney faces pressure from all sides on EV mandate as sales plummet. The federal government is facing pressure from all sides to fix its policy that imposes a minimum electric vehicle sales requirement on automakers. The Canadian Vehicle Manufacturers Association, a lobbying group for 3 United States automakers with operations in Canada, launched a campaign and petition on Monday calling for the government to scrap the policy outright. But on Tuesday, 40 EV industry executives signed on to an open letter to Prime Minister Mark Carney asking him to stay the course but make reasonable adjustments to EV sales requirements.
The people in the industry are saying, don't do this. Don't try and make us do this. It's not going to go well for anybody. And we've been saying it for years, whenever these EV mandates started coming out. We've been saying this from the get-go.
Yes, the 20% by 2026, all the way up to 100% by 2035.
Yeah. And now you're starting to see the results of it.
Yeah, I found it interesting in this article specifically, Twos. Kingston said such hybrid. Where is it? A new form of EV set to come to market and contains a gas engine, but not for propulsion. Instead, the engine acts as a generator to recharge the vehicle's battery in order to extend its operating range.
That's a novel idea.
Who had that idea and got caught up in red tape by the Canadian government?
Got caught up in a regulatory catch-22 and was unable to move forward with it? You'd think that would be why not lead with that story?
Edison Motors, folks. That's what Chase Barber was all
Yep.
about. And the Canadian government was caught up in its own red tape to try and make that happen.
Go back about 15 Mashup episodes and you'll find him laying it all out for us.
Yep. Kevin Vickers, Liberal leader of the... You got one? You got one.
Yeah. Well, the Stellantis plant closing.
Oh.
Yes. Tying right in with the EV mandates. Now, Stellantis got a whole shit ton of taxpayer money to retool their plant. And then they took the money, are now closing down the plant and moving to the United States. And Melanie Joly is threatening legal action, which is going to take years, if it ever happens at all, and is going to do nothing but seriously cool any sort of interest in infrastructure investment in Canada. It's silly, it's stupid. I mean, you can go back to, here's Justin Trudeau literally in May of last year. Honda, Stellantis, Northvolt, Volkswagen, Asahi Kasei. These are big companies that can choose to build anywhere, and they're choosing Canada. No, the fuck they are not. And you know what? I'm probably going to take a lot of hell for this. This plant choosing to close down its Canada operations and move to the States is a good thing. I'm happy about it. If a business can make decisions that are going to cut down on its input costs, just think about how much cheaper it's got to be in the States for them to look at it and say, Canada's going to give us billions of dollars, but if we move to the States, we will more than make that up. Yes.
Yeah.
That's how uncompetitive it is. And so they're going to be able to move to the States and build vehicles that Canadians buy for cheaper than they would be able to sell them for if they were built in Canada, which keeps the industry competitive and the prices lower. Now we could talk about dealerships being totally fucked up on another conversation, but the basic implication here is that rather than handing out a few $1 billion to selectively help out a few thousand people in Ontario, we've now got a business making a good decision that's going to reduce costs for every Canadian.
Do you want to talk about Pierre Poilievre's comments, or do you want to go somewhere else? Okay. Do you want to do you have video of the comments, or is it just commentary on the comments?
Well, okay, we're gonna go somewhere else first. Sorry,
okay.
I lied. Okay, all right. New Zealand found a giant shipment of crystal meth from Canada hidden in beer, and somebody accidentally drank one and died. So yeah, last week it was maple syrup. This week it's beer. Now,
do you think we have a problem?
I think we have a bit of a problem, and I would say that if New Zealand is going to get a shipment of hockey pucks, and donuts, they should probably double check things.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Teachers strike. So Angus Reid did a poll. In this dispute between the Alberta government and the teachers, would you say your sympathies are more with? And 58% said the teachers. 58% said they sympathize with the teachers. That's pretty low. I would expect that if you're going to shut down an entire, industry, because, you guys don't really look at it as a calling at this point, I think it's fair to say. If you're going to shut down an entire industry that millions of people are relying on, you should want to have something like 90%, which the NDP voters aren't even at 90% support for it.
I don't know. It's higher than I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's
yeah.
What do conservatives say? 50+1, and they're over that. I know you want 90%, but I mean they're over that. So,
but the point I'm making though is that if you're a teacher, like you're the ATA, and you've got this righteous crusade against the evil government, It should be a lot more cut and dried than what it currently is.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of kids out of school right now, man.
Yep.
700,000 plus, right? And we're
Mhm.
going to get to a couple different thoughts here in a little
Well,
bit
I mean,
about that. But
if you brought in a bunch of private schools, it wouldn't be an issue anymore.
sure.
Also, Agripur has indefinitely shut down a milk plant that was one of the big places that did sour cream and cottage cheese for Canada. The people who worked there went on strike, and so it's been shut down. So plan on some more milk being dumped out. And also, this is a female volleyball game, Seneca College. And there are 6 people on the court at any given time. Of the 6, 5 of them were trans. And believe it or not, they won the game. I do not watch women's volleyball to see a bunch of dudes in banana
spandex?
hammocks.
Where's Seneca College?
I don't know.
Is that Ontario?
I think so. This
Somebody
seems
know
like
that?
the kind of thing Ontario would do.
If somebody's watching the show and knows where Seneca College is, I'd be curious.
Oh, also, quick side note: the Chinese ambassador said that they would rescind the canola tariffs if Canada got rid of the EV tariffs.
Yes,
Alana says it's in North York.
North York. There you go. So Ontario.
Hmm?
All right.
Okay,
Ontario.
Yeah,
Ontarians doing Ontario things, and I'm gonna caveat that because I've been getting texts from Ontarios all week too, because I said something about Ontario folk, and the rural Ontario people who are probably lovely, and well, I know are lovely because they're texting me, say the rural Ontario folk think a heck of a lot more like Western Canada than we realize. So there, but Ontario continues to do pretty strange things.
That's basically it. And in fact, we're going to talk a little bit more about their premiere in a little while.
Yes, we are. Now, I don't know where to hop in at this point because I'm stuck on the Pierre Polyev comments, and I'm waiting for you to get to it.
Okay,
Then I can carry on.
Yeah, sure. Let's do the Pierre Polyev comments.
Do you have a video on them, or am I just gonna read off what Kevin Vickers said right at the start? I feel like this is gonna be 180 all day, folks. Twos is leading the show. I had to do a rant to start. It's like you're in for an ass backwards episode today.
I didn't bookmark it, and so I don't have the video.
Okay, Kevin
I've got the
Vickers,
response.
leader of the Liberal Party in New Brunswick,
Yeah.
said, "I am sickened by the remarks of Pierre Poilievre concerning the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Our National Police Force. His remarks today are not worthy of someone vying for position of Prime Minister of Canada. I'm just so mad, as we say here in Trout Brook, New Brunswick."
Well, let's just say saying something bad about people who do poorly is justified. Like you don't just get a blanket pass because you're the government police force. That's just simply not true. Anybody in any position can do something poorly. Him calling out the leader of the opposition sickens me, and his remarks are not worthy of someone in his position or vying for a better one. Boom, Yahtzee. So what Polyev had said, I think he said that that the leadership in the RCMP was disgusting, I think was one of the words he used. And he was just talking. Yeah, he was talking about how they basically chose not to go after the Liberals over, and Justin Trudeau specifically, regarding some very obvious things, the conflicts of interest and the SNC Lavalin affair. And so then you get a bunch of people jumping in saying, you've got how on earth could there have been interference if the minister herself testified to the Justice Committee that there wasn't? Polyev is making quite a fool of himself. Well, actually, she said that there was. She literally said that the exact opposite of what this guy's saying. She said that there was, what was it, steady and consistent and hard pressure or something like that. She literally said the exact opposite of And so you've got all these people trying to be revisionist, saying, well, what proof do you have? Well, first off, you've got the testimony of Jody Wilson-Raybould. So there's that. And then secondly, she said that there was a lot more stuff that would be revealed if you guys went around the cabinet confidentiality. And any sane person would have said, okay, well, the Liberals, apparently there's some more smoking guns, maybe even a few burning ones behind this cabinet confidentiality. And the Liberals are saying, we're the government and we're not allowing you to access this. Doesn't that make you at least a little bit suspicious? Like,
It should.
Let's say you got, I don't know, you're trying to track down some sort of a thief, and you're like, hey, I need to go in there and see if you've got the jewels. And he says, no, you're actually not allowed in there. What's your response as a police officer? It's probably not going to be, oh, okay, sorry to have bothered you. You're going to say, shut the hell up, open that damn door, I'm going in there. That's it.
The RCMP Commissioner Duhaime said about Pulyev. So I think we've talked about SNC Lavalin quite a lot under the previous government, and I think it was clear that there's no interference. And as far as his comments with regards to senior management, I would invite Mr. Pulyev to meet with us and to meet with the people who run this great organization, 32,000 strong. I shouldn't say a CBC reporter. A reporter had asked about comments made by Pierre, and that was his response.
Well, here's the thing. Just tell me where the lie is. Tell me where what he said was out of line. I get the fact that you're mad that he said it, but being mad that he said it doesn't make what he said incorrect. I mean, look at the way Brenda Lucki kowtowed to the Liberals over gun control after the debacle in Nova Scotia. 22 people got murdered. You've literally got cops pulling weapons on civilians who were just trying to get answers. They're handing the personal effects of the murdered people back to the families with organic matter still on them. Like they couldn't even wipe the brain splatter off the picture frame before they handed it back to them. And while this is all unfolding, she's more concerned about kowtowing to Bill Blair. And there's leaked audio that you can go listen to that corroborates this. So you've got a crazy good paper trail already. You've got a pretty decent case, even with just Jody Wilson-Raybould's testimony, let alone getting in and finding the stuff that's been blocked by cabinet confidentiality. Tell me where the lie is. Tell me where the lie is. Tell me what he said that was out of line. And I don't really like Pierre Poilievre very much at all.
He criticized the National Police Force, and so people are defending.
I criticize the National Police Force.
You're not the official opposition, Toos.
I'm about the only opposition this country has, Sean.
Greater awareness would have helped roll out a federal gun back pilot, Cape Breton mayor has said.
Yes, so they're already doing damage control on the fact that the Cape Breton buyback is probably a disaster in the making. So for those of you who don't know, the newly prohibited firearms that people have been lawfully keeping locked up, the government has basically said you can turn them in by this date or you will be a criminal. And they're already saying, oh, well, you know what? Maybe we didn't manage the wording of it right. Maybe we didn't get the word out very well on this. I think maybe it's just that most people aren't interested in listening to your stupid fucking ideas, and they're not going to do it. And if you want the guns, you can come in, shoot their dog, tase them, and then bust open the safes.
I found this post that you highlighted interesting. It says, consider purchasing these legal firearms that the Liberals are considering banning and save your seat. SKS values are climbing because they're one of the few remaining semi-autos that have not yet been prohibited. Even a basic SKS, which used to go for $199 at Canadian Tire years ago, is $500 to $800 now, and these are over $1,500 to your door.
Yes. So keep in mind that this is a design that the design of this weapon is like World War II era. And they're selling for $1,500. This is like cars in Cuba, where they've got the stuff from the 40s and the 50s because they can't get any new ones in. This is the same thing. This is the Canadian equivalent of it. We've got Cuban cars are the Canadian firearms in this country. Does anybody see any issues with that?
Newfoundland. Progressive Conservatives win majority government in Newfoundland, Labrador.
Are they conservative, though?
Voters in Newfoundland and
won.
Labrador showed they were in the mood for a big change on Tuesday by ousting the governing Liberals after 10 years in power and handing a slim majority win to the Progressive Conservatives. Progressive Conservatives have won 21 of the legislature's 40 ridings. The Liberals were elected in 15 ridings, a decline of 6 seats. The New Democrats, led by Jim Dinn, doubled their seat count to 2, and 2 well-known independents were re-elected. Jim Dinn. What a name.
Jim Dinn. Well, that's how they would say it in Newfoundland. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's Jim Dinn over there.
Oh, yeah. Jim Dinn. Yep.
Oh, yeah. His best kind. All right. So, Sean, check out this Firecast.
I love this show. I hope you guys are having as much fun wherever you're sitting. Jim Dinn.
Bye. Check this out. This is what they were projecting before it happened.
Yes.
It's more of like a pikey than a newfie, but whatever. It's for me, ma. All right. So the Liberals were projected to be 20 points up on the Conservatives before this. Now, granted, Newfoundland has a really small population.
Way up.
And so, there's chances for things to go wrong. But if there's that many chances for things to go wrong, you don't say plus or minus 3%. You say plus or minus 20%.
Can you imagine a poll coming out with plus or minus 20%?
Absolutely. Look what's like. There was one riding in the last Yukon provincial election that had like 68 voters. You miss one house, and that's tipping the balance. There was lots of interesting stuff that happened in this election, though. There was Leela Evans in Torngat Mountains, got 95.7% of the vote in that riding, which is even higher than the dictator of Syria did in his last election. So that was kind of fun and interesting. The premier-elect has said that fiscal conservatism isn't going to be a huge priority right off the start. So for those of you watching along, what Sean just brought up is a
results of the Newfoundland Labrador election since 1949 is the solid lines. The dotted line is what's happening federally.
Yeah, and it is all over the map. This looks like, the beep beep heart rate things.
I was going to say it looks like my 6-year-old son decided to scribble some things on a piece of paper is what it looks like.
Yeah, sure, it could kind of be that, but I was thinking that this looks like what my heart rate readout would have been the first time I saw the shower scene in Starship Troopers.
Who is that actress?
Kelly Carlson or Denise Richards?
Not Denise. It was Kelly Carlson.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyways, we're dating ourselves. If you haven't seen Starship Troopers, you weren't a part of that era because that went around the shelves pretty darn quick.
Yeah. I just want to point out a couple things though. So technically, their name is the Progressive Conservative Party, but if we go to their actual platform, they have things like equity, safety, and belonging. A society must be equitable and inclusive, where people are embraced for their rich diversity, experiences, and perspectives. Exactly the kind of things that you would expect from a conservative party. And just I want to point this out. They also suck when it comes to attention to detail. Covering travel costs for patients who must travel for essential medical care and free parking. This is why you need an Oxford comma, Sean. Because this basically says covering travel costs for patients who must travel for essential medical care and covering travel costs for patients who must travel for free parking. That's the difference that an Oxford comma makes. And this is the attention to detail that these very progressive, not very conservative people just voted for.
I'm curious, everybody watching, what your favorite part of the show is. Mine, I got a list of them. It used to be the other Randy. I really enjoy the headlines when twos used to do it on the Postal Service. I thought that was great. And the Oxford comma rants rank very high up there for me. It's always interesting to me what sets twos off. It's the Oxford comma. The Oxford comma, poor punctuation, just frustrates him on a completely different level than anything else. That's fantastic to me. Do you have a favorite? I'm asking the audience right now. I feel like you have a favorite. I'm curious what your comments are. Twos.
I love the heists and the sunken treasure. And I thought it was actually really cool last week that you were talking about how much you liked them too. Because I just started putting them in because
Yeah,
they're like
what-
my favorite things. And then it turns out that you really like them too. And I'm like, okay, this is awesome.
Yes. Well, who doesn't love a good heist? You know,
I
as long-
know, right?
You know, like you gotta be pretty creative on a heist, and we've seen our fair share here in Canada. You know,
Pet says, I'll travel 20 kilometers for free parking and somebody better compensate me for it. Zane says definitely the Oxford comma rants. I also quite like our references to dated pop culture.
Yes, Starship Troopers. Man, that brings the guy back. Let's show some driving here in Canada. You got a whole list of videos. Let's see some of these this week. I got to give a shout out to my dad. My dad was the one that showed me. Usually it's two sending me the driving videos. My father started because he traveled this country long haul truck driving for a very long time. And so he started sending. I'm wondering if there must be like a truckers group chat out there just of like silly things going on right now. If that is out there,
Channel 17.
just hook us into it because truck drivers see it all, right? Anyways, here's some videos. We've been covering this driving thing now for, I don't know, has it been a year? It's been a while. Here's a truck with nobody in it rolling into oncoming Route 90 Winnipeg.
And then
Buddy,
oh
is that your
wait,
truck?
dude gets
No.
out.
Oh, it's his truck.
Oh no, he's doing a fast waddle.
Look at him. Holy fuck, you could have killed someone.
That is very bad. Here's another one. See, it's bad enough when it's commercial drivers, hauling freight. But this is a commercial driver hauling people. This is U-Haul van with people hanging off the back of it like it's a train in Mumbai.
On the Anthony Henday twos.
Yep.
On the Anthony Henday that happened.
Yep.
Like, hold on tight, folks. They're like, that is a wild
I get
video.
the fact that everybody wants to get the hell out of Edmonton because it sucks and it's terrible. But maybe just rent a bigger van. And then this is interesting. This is a jewelry store robbery in Newmarket's Upper Canada Mall. And they followed the vehicle onto Highway 404 where the getaway vehicle crashed. 4 suspects arrested. So, on the bright side, some of them are now crashing their getaway vehicles when they're robbing jewelry stores. So it's not all bad. It's not all bad.
Meanwhile, in Pennsylvania, a cow was rescued from the median of I-79 near Cranberry Township in Butler County Wednesday morning. Traffic was backed up for 2 miles approaching the area while police remained on the scene. A cow. A runaway cow.
Look, I've just about had it with this. They come over here from Asia. They don't learn the language. They have no idea what the rules of the road are. None of them have licenses, and they're just wrecking all of the traffic all over the place.
CBC. CBC has a 5-year plan, leans on young people, new Canadians to build their audience.
Oh, I don't know. What do you want to say about this?
Well, I from here in Lloyd, the one thing I noticed, I ran into the CBC doing a news story on the new Synovus Hub, and talked to the guy for a bit, and they've been all over small rural communities trying to open up new outlets, right? Or new whatever you want to call them. So it'll be interesting.
So
As for identifying their audiences that don't like them, I mean, that's interesting as well. How many times did they just say, we're going to put the pedal down and continue to do what we're doing, and we're doing a great job? Meanwhile, all the stats too showed nobody watches them.
yes. So I actually had, I mean, we talked about it before, how they're actively blocking the release of GEM subscriber numbers because they don't want people to know how bad they are, presumably. Give me one other good reason why they wouldn't. I actually asked Grok about it. I was like, hey, you know what? Is there any way you could look at the financials, the disclosed financials, and like figure out how many paid subscribers GEM has? And it used a bunch of really rough estimates and kind of went off a few things. Like it did a bunch of grasping. And being charitable as possible, it came up with a number that was a little under 200,000. Which I think is just astonishingly high. I would be incredibly surprised if it was that high. But
if it was that high, too, don't you think that they found a way for government employees to put it on and they repay them back, and now they can show that they have 200,000 paid people?
Oh,
Somehow
I guarantee you. I
find a way to
guarantee you.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
If the number's that high,
that there are tens of thousands of people working for CBC.
How many people do you know that pay for a service and they've uttered the word GEM?
I don't know anybody who has
I don't
GEM
either.
or uses GEM.
I don't either.
I'm calling this now. If and when these numbers come out, they're going to show the free version. They're going to try and paint that as being how many subscribers they have. And it's probably going to be a list of everybody who's ever downloaded the app on their Fire Stick.
Yeah, like when you go around
Like
the
whether
water
they used
cooler
it or not,
and you're
whether they used
talking,
it or not.
you're talking to everyday people. Like I think you hear probably, hey, did you see the new show on Netflix? I think that's probably number one.
Mhm.
Number two is something to do with closely followed by like Sportsnet or TSN, something to do with sports apps, and the price of them going up, I would say, is number two. And then after that, you have a laundry list of like, what is it? Amazon Prime, Hulu, Crave, some show on something like that. In all my conversations, I have never once heard anyone
Complain
other
about
than
the
this
cost
show
of GEM.
talk about even having GEM.
Yeah. Oh,
well,
absolutely.
I got GEM free because it's got what on it? I don't even know. I have no idea.
But it's probably installed. It's probably installed on your TV, and they're going to count that number as
guaranteed.
As
they're going to try and balloon the number as best they can.
Yeah,
but
the
nobody
number is going to be completely inaccurate.
And what's crazy about that is in the NHL playoffs specifically, GEM ads ran, I don't know, every second commercial. It was just like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, man, that's some big money they're spending to try and get people to go to GEM. Except
actually, it's big money that we're spending.
Correct. Okay, fair enough.
So here's the thing, though. They talked about, well, yeah, they acknowledged that there's groups that had tuned them out. They said that, okay, what's the main reason why CBC says that it's important? When you talk, when you listen to Catherine Tate talk, she would talk about how CBC is important because it's needed in rural and remote communities that are underserved by traditional other sources of legacy media.
They always point to disinformation, misinformation, things like that.
There's that too. But part of their big stated reason for existing is to serve rural communities.
Okay.
And in this 5-year plan, they specifically pointed out the fact that nobody in rural communities is even tuning into them, don't even know what programs they have, just completely have moved past CBC.
Correct.
So your whole reason for being is to serve rural communities, and the rural communities are choosing not to even know cursory details about
But
you,
in the one
let
interview,
alone Yep.
one interview with whatever her name was, I'm forgetting. Not the main lady that used to be there, but somebody different. She pointed out that they're
Marie
trying.
Bouchard.
Yeah, she was talking about how they're trying to get back into those communities, and that they don't have a balanced voice for them. That's basically what she
Mhm.
said, and that they're going to try and do better by that. So I guess we'll wait and see.
Yes,
I'm like,
and
I'd be
they're
I'd be
calling a
curious.
lot of them non-users and dissatisfied users.
Correct. I'd be curious if all of a sudden you got a knock on your door saying, "Twos, we'd really like to bring you onto the CBC," and you'd be like, "What?" You'd be like, "Well, it seems you have a voice with a lot of the people in the rural
Mhm.
areas, and we'd like to try and speak to them. And if that's for you, we'd just like to give you some of the things to talk about." And but it'll just be the CBC coming in, and I don't know. We'll see.
Could you imagine if, like, okay, just go through that thought exercise for a minute. We get the knock on our door, and then the mashup goes on to CBC, and then we tape the first episode because there's no way they'd let it go live. And then they would take this entire hour and a half, and they will whittle it down to about 47 seconds.
The mashup airs, and it's kicked off.
Yeah, it's just there's maybe part of the twos rant at the start, and then some instance of us saying the word carny and not talking about a traveling circus, and then cut to commercial, and then roll credits.
We should do a CBC episode. That'd be fun. 47 seconds, 222 seconds of fun. CBC, yeah. Anyways, let's talk about Pierre Polyev. Okay, I'm gonna pull up this tweet. This is what it
let's go.
says. Pierre Polyev said, "Nazi socialism, Soviet socialism, narco-socialism, oh my goodness, and all other forms of socialism
Acetaminophen.
move at different speeds, but always to the same destination: impoverished hell for the many and special powers and wealth for the few. Only freedom, free speech, free enterprise, and free choice empowers all to fulfill their potential and live good and great lives."
Yes.
Insanity ensues.
Cue the butt hurts. Once again, as somebody who is literally a professor studying totalitarianism, I'm telling you that Nazis were not socialists. Here's another one. It's loading. Give it a sec here. Insisting that Nazis were socialists is literal Nazi propaganda. I support socialism over capitalism. That guy, by the way, is one of the candidates running for leadership of the NDP.
Yves Engle.
Yeah. And personally, I think that he perfectly encapsulates the thoughts and beliefs of the NDP voters. And I think that there is no better candidate to accurately represent who the NDP are on the world stage. Then we've also got, check out this tweet by Polyev suggesting the type of socialism Anna was describing is connected to Nazi socialism. This is absolutely absurd. And Polyev clearly has no idea what Nazism, fascism, and socialism are actually about. It just goes on and on and on. There's literally thousands of these. So, I mean,
insanity ensued.
Well, here's the thing, though, Sean. We just had a volleyball team where 5 of the 6 people were dudes. Okay, if a man says he's a woman, then he's a woman. Okay, fair enough. We've got the Newfoundland Conservative Party, who has they're not going to do anything about the spending, and they're leaning into DEI, but they're conservative. Right? You've got Antifa. We haven't really covered this, but in the States, there's a lot of talk about Antifa and how they're not actually anti-fascist, they're fascist. And but their name is Antifa, so obviously they must be anti-fascist. And then you've got the National Socialist Party, which is what Nazi stands for. Well, that's not socialism. but it's in their name. They said that they're socialists. Yeah, but whatever you say, you can't just say that you're something and then magically become it. You know what? I think Leah Thomas, and Dylan Mulvaney might want to have a few words with you about that.
You want to show the video of Ryan Turnbull? The 60,000 new jobs added in September. Do you just want to talk about jobs?
Here, we'll just show a little bit of it here real quick.
Allergy to the facts. Fact, Canada created 60,000 net new jobs last month.
Now, there's all this talk about how many jobs got created. This, by the way, was October 10th. This was last Friday. Okay? And then you've got this guy talking about the 60,000 new jobs created. Wob Canoe got all of his numbers wrong. Actually, you know what? I do want to show this. So unmute me if you don't mind.
Well, guess what? We added 5,300 jobs in Manitoba last month.
It's very convenient that the number the Premier quotes isn't painting the full picture, so let me do that for you here today. Unemployment is up 6.2% under this NDP government. 4,300 jobs were lost in August in manufacturing alone. 7,200 part-time jobs were lost in September. Over 5,200 jobs were lost in August. 3,900 were only added back. That's a net loss of 1,300 jobs.
So the numbers are all weird and all over the place, and everybody's got their opinions. There's a whole bunch of this stuff. Marty did a good job of breaking down Wob Canoe's numbers being out to lunch. And here, I'm going to take that down. We're going to get to that in a minute. But I was asking Grok about this because I'm like, where did the job numbers actually come from? And so there's a department in the federal government that calls random people up and surveys them and just says, hey, do you have a job? Yes or no? And I'm like, well, this is weird. I've never even heard of this. What are the chances that me at my age, having worked my whole life, has never received one of these phone calls? And Grok said, okay, well, the chances are small, but not zero. But I don't know anybody who's ever, like, I've never heard anybody mention that they got a call from some government bureau asking them about their employment
Do
status.
you work? Yeah.
No, I've never even heard of it. And here's the thing, is it's so weird because you're taking these sample phone calls and creating an estimate, and that's where that 66,000 job number comes from. And this was on the 10th of October that they were talking about it, that the September job numbers came out. If you employ somebody, you have to remit payment of their payroll deductions by the 15th of the following month to Revenue Canada. And so a really accurate way to tell how many people are employed would be to look at how many different people had payroll remitted for them to Revenue Canada by the 15th of the month. And so it's really strange that we have.
Are you saying there's a smarter way to do this?
Well, there's a super smarter and easier way to do it, because not only does it takes away all the ambiguity from this, because it's going to show up on a fucking spreadsheet in Ottawa, laid out exact.
Are you
numbers.
saying politicians want exact figures too?
No, they don't.
They want the ambiguity? Don't they want the gray zone?
So here's the question: is that when we see all these job numbers, are they inaccurate because they want to have wiggle room? Are they inaccurate because they're purposely doing them poorly to try and mislead people? Or are they inaccurate because bureaucracy needs bureaucracy? And yes, that exact number shows up on a spreadsheet in Ottawa on the 15th of every month, but we can hire a few thousand idiots in Gatineau to just call people and have a maybe number by the 10th.
Oh, yeah, I would say if you're asking me that question, they want to paint themselves in a good light. And so this allows them to do something that allows that to happen. And then the opposition wants to rally against it. And instead of just having something like you're pointing out that would actually give concrete numbers, and you could actually see.
They have the concrete number. Like, it's literally, you would just take everything in one column and you would go, you would just highlight the entire column in Excel, and in the bottom right-hand corner, it would give you the total amount and it would give you the count. And so however it's set up in that spreadsheet, it's literally just highlight the column and it will tell you.
I put zero faith in politicians. Let's move on. Peace.
Okay.
Parliamentary press gallery not informed in advance of Prime Minister's trip to Egypt. The Parliamentary Gallery was not informed in advance of Prime Minister's trip to Egypt to participate in the Middle East peace ceremony on October 12th, 13th. The gallery is disappointed and dismayed at the exclusion of the Canadian media from the event and expresses in no uncertain terms that this must never happen again. It is unprecedented that Canadian media be entirely excluded from a Canadian Prime Minister's foreign trip, our members being trustworthy and reliable news coverage free from any political interference to Canadians every day. It goes on. It goes on.
It's very cute. It's very cute. All right. But here's the thing. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, Donald Trump brought peace to the Middle East. He settled the whole Palestine, Israel thing. No one's ever going to get attacked or shot or suicide bombed or anything like that ever again. And a whole bunch of world leaders met in Egypt for this. And Carney was obviously kept out of the loop because they didn't even have time to get the prime ministerial jet ready. And so they had to charter a jet to take him down there. And then they didn't bring any of the press gallery with him. And then, Donald Trump specifically named all of the countries who were very helpful in this. Canada was not on the list. Mark Carney is a blister. He shows up when the work's done.
Let's get on to some goofy news. We have, if you're telling me we got 28 minutes, we got to get through a whole bunch here. Let's do some goofy news. Pickleballers are making too much racket and can face new rules in Toronto City, says. Pickleballers are making too much racket, say some Toronto City councillors.
Yeah, CBC is trying to be us.
Noise restrictions. The Globe and Mail. Canada doesn't like.
Just have you ever played pickleball before?
Yes.
Okay. How would you compare yourself to the average pickleball player?
Me? Decent, but if you get to some of those old timers who can really give her, you get cleaned up.
Yeah. Okay. What would you say the median age is where I was going with this?
Oh, 65. Probably.
Yeah, at least. You're looking at a bunch of retirees. I think this is probably the first time ever that I've ever seen noise complaints about retired people.
Yes. Noise complaints from too early in the morning and too late at night. And you're like, what? What an insane thought process. Anyways, the Globe and Mail, Canada doesn't like immigration anymore. This is a problem.
No, it isn't.
Here's the chart. I just want to show the chart. This is share of Canadians who think the number of incoming immigrants is too many. So back in the early 2000s, it was 46%. It goes lower. 2015, it's at 19.5%, all the way down. 15% in 2022. And where we sit today, 54% of Canadians say it's too many. Too many.
Yeah. Welcome to the party, pal.
Andrew Coyne, do you want to...
I just want to show these tweets here real quick.
Sure.
All right. So for those of you who don't know who Andrew Coyne is, he's a hack, and he has pretty bad Trump derangement syndrome. And here's a tweet of ICE people or ICE arresting people, and he retweets it and says, "The only responsible thing to do when unidentified masked men attempt to take you away by force is to resist with all of your might." This was from October 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you go not even into the Wayback Machine, into the just a little bit before, the 5 minutes earlier, September 3rd, this is an article he wrote. Poilievre's proposed Stand on Guard Act goes far beyond even the U.S. castle law on which it was supposedly based. He literally wrote an article talking
Which is it, Andrew? Which is it?
Yeah.
Which is it?
September 3rd to October 13th.
Can't defend yourself, or you can defend yourself.
Two exact opposite stances. And they're not 6 months apart. They're literally a month and 10 days apart.
Here's a tweet. Looks like Carney is recycling footage from a trip in August to make it look like he stopped to visit service members this Thanksgiving. Nothing is real with this guy. Okay. Here's the first picture.
That's
First
from
tweet.
a tweet for Thanksgiving. And then the other picture is from August 27th. There's him at the same place, sitting next to the same people. The same girl with the same ponytail is sitting across. The same dude with the beard. It's the same thing.
Yes.
And they use two different pictures from it and hope nobody would notice. You know, kind of like how they were misleading people by doing the fake shantytown for the press conference, or when they were misleading people by putting fake
Nothing to
bags
see here,
of
too.
Canadian wheat
Move on.
in Mexico.
Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada had this. Here, pull it up. Thinking about moving to Canada? Did you know Canada has public health care? Learn how it works. When you get it and what services are covered, get the details and helpful tips.
This is them saying, come to Canada. We will take care of your health care.
And Twos would say,
what would Twos say?
I don't know. You'd have some quip here. I just assumed you've been stewing on this one about our healthcare system.
Well,
I figured this was like, of all the slow pitches that come in for a home run moonshot, this would be the one for you.
Okay.
Out of all this week.
Out of all this week? This is crazy. Okay. How about this? Trying to have fewer immigrants in Canada is a good thing, but sending them to our healthcare system is probably going about it the wrong way.
Show the video of our favorite Toronto mayor.
Yes. Now, keep in mind, this is not a doctored video. The woman does, however, need one.
Hey, Toronto, we want it all.
Toronto, there's your mayor.
You guys,
this is lovely.
You guys voted for this person.
AOC, says rivers were on fire because of corporations like Deloitte pouring chemicals into waterways. Deloitte is an accounting, consulting, and tax service firm. No idea what she's talking about.
Okay, so here's the video of her talking about
rivers
Deloitte.
In rural areas were on fire because of corporations poisoning the people who lived in those areas. Poor middle-class communities getting poisoned and dumped on by corporations like Deloitte and 3M.
Now, just, to the tweet's point, Deloitte provides audit, consulting, financial advisory, risk, tax, and legal services with approximately 470,000 employees globally. And apparently, according to AOC, Deloitte is pouring chemicals into rivers and setting them on fire. I don't know how many accountants you know, Sean, but I've never seen an accountant do that. I've never even heard of an accountant doing that.
Here is Holly Doan. Lib's election platform promised 1,000 more RCMP personnel to tackle drug and human trafficking. Promise was re-announced April 10th, April 28th, June 3rd, August 12th, and Minister Sean Fraser announced it a sixth time.
Yes. So maybe do fewer announcements and more actually doing the damn job.
A little less talky.
Yeah, a little less talk and a lot more action, in the words of Toby Keith. Now, maybe it's because it was out of order. Did you see this?
Air Canada signs baby seat several rows away, leaving family frustrated. Yep.
Yeah, so Air Canada, this guy paid the extra fee to have everybody sit together. That extra fee you pay, that all went through. They put the kid on standby and was presumably going to board everybody but the kid. But then a seat opened up, and then the kid got the seat, which was 5 rows away. Now, I'm not really sure what they're complaining about because, yes, it was an 18-month-old child, but they spawned a ginger. Being 5 rows away from it isn't really that bad of a thing. the transport agency in Canada had decided that they weren't going to fine Air Canada because a bunch of the passengers were okay just hopscotching around so that the kid could sit with the parents, which probably wasn't that hard of a sell because just be like, look, if we can move things around, then you won't have to sit next to this ginger.
Okay. I'm gonna pull up the next tweet. Yesterday I got to see the Snakwa, a new development in Vancouver being built by the Squamish Nation on land that they have zoning rights over. A very cool project.
Yep. Yeah. I think that this is really going a long way towards truth and reconciliation. As far as First Nations go. Especially the part where in Canadian tradition, when it comes to truth and reconciliation, the most important thing you can bring to the table is a surfboard. Because that's what Justin Trudeau did on the first Truth and Reconciliation Day. That's a picture of him celebrating truth and reconciliation. And in honor of his legacy, they put a whole bunch of them up on the side of the building.
Aren't those things, forgive me, those are going to be balconies, right?
I don't know.
Well, let's
assume they were going to be balconies.
No, just come on, computer. Look,
enhance.
Those are doors. They're going to be balconies.
I mean, hopefully part of reconciliation is some fucking railings.
If birth tourism is such a big scam, why do so few immigrants take advantage?
This is Andrew Coyne again. Read. I'm going to read this again. If
Sure.
birth tourism is such a big scam, why do so few immigrants take advantage? Because they're already immigrants, you idiot. They don't need to do birth tourism. They're already immigrants.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to carry on. Kelowna International Airport. Here, let's pull this up. Okay, there you go. Kelowna Airport, International Airport's display and PA system were hacked, displaying messages claiming Israel had lost the war and that Donald Trump is a pig. That's in Kelowna.
Well, that's the thing that's crazy about it. Of all random places in the world to hack an airport display and put that up, you're going to hack Kelowna.
That wouldn't be Tu's first choice?
What relevancy does a small city that is almost the antipode of the Middle East have to do with anything? Like, the only way that you could find something less relevant to this, how could you find something less relevant? Like maybe if there was a screen like that in the curling rink in Keniston or something. Like, that's the only way this could get more obscure.
We're going to a hockey tournament in Keniston this year.
Nice.
Side note. Stephen Guilbeault proposes a new global carbon tax on maritime shipping. Quoted, "We are very supportive of the discussions that are happening at the International Marine Organization to put in place some kind of levy on international marine transportation."
Poor choice of words as far as waterways and stuff go. But yeah, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I mean, where would the money go?
Are they being fed? Thousands of students lose school meals during Alberta teachers' strike.
I'm guessing they're being fed because otherwise they would have starved to death long before they became students. The government does not need to solve all of your problems.
Walking is good for you. Walking backward can add to the benefits.
This is an actual article from the CTV about the health benefits of walking backwards. Did a coffee table write this?
Canadian refugee applicant in ICE custody says he crossed border accidentally. A Canadian refugee applicant from Bangladesh who is being held in U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention facility in Buffalo says he crossed the border into the U.S. by mistake, and now Canada won't take him back.
So Where exactly is Buffalo again? Remind me, Sean.
New York.
Okay, roughly where is it close to in Canada?
Toronto.
Toronto. Okay, yeah, ballpark, sure.
Ballpark.
Here's a picture of him in Lake Louise.
I didn't catch that.
I'm not saying that people shouldn't be allowed to experience life, but if you're coming over as a refugee and you have enough money to travel across what is the second largest country in the world to see its major tourist destinations, where'd you get the money?
Our favorite premier back in the news. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says he's threatened to beat up Home Depot shoplifter. Quoted, I said, buddy, I'm going to kick your ass all over the parking lot. Show me what's in your bag. Ford told the Fireside Chat on Monday. He said the man then pulled out a saw blade that the store manager said was stolen. Quoted, then I went on to tell him if I ever see him in the parking lot, he's going to get a beating like he's never got before. But that's what you have to do.
This is a serious conversation that he had.
Old Dougie.
This is Doug Ford.
Dougie Ford finding a way. I'm all here for it, too. Find a way into the headlines, Dougie.
If it's not the maple, or
can you do the Dougie?
Not the whiskey.
Yeah.
Not in Kentucky. If it's not pouring out the whiskey or eating an ice cream sandwich, it's him telling people at a fireside chat about the time he threatened to beat up a guy in the parking lot of Home Depot.
Home Depot. I'm all here for it, too. I'm all here for it. Reelect Doug Ford so we can just have more of this for years to come. You want to show the Thomas Lukaszczyk video?
No, the video is completely irrelevant. I just want to point out, so this is Thomas Lukaszczyk, the guy going around with the petition for Alberta to forego its manifest destiny. Good night, hashtag Forever Canadian Volunteers. I'm off to bed somewhere between Wainwright and Camrose. See you tomorrow morning, Canada. He's going to bed somewhere between Wainwright and Camrose. Wainwright, if you look it up on Google Maps, does not exist. There is, however, a place somewhat close to Camrose called Wainwright. And I'm just saying that if this guy is in touch with the people of Alberta and how they think and how they feel,
he might get the spelling right.
He might be able to spell the name of a fucking city properly.
Ireland is implementing basic income for artists. Could Canada do something similar?
This is from the CBC. Pushing idiot, impossible, unsustainable, socialist talking points. Now, the interesting thing, though, is that if you were to go into the search bar and look up something like, so this is Ireland basic income. Now, Ireland, for those of you who don't know, got rid of corporate taxes. If we look up Ireland corporate tax, nothing. Saskatchewan-born poet shortlisted for T.S. Eliot Prize. That same article we looked at. Maybe the reason why they have enough money to do this stupid pet project is because they got rid of corporate tax. They cut the corporate tax rate to 0. And CBC doesn't seem to have a whole lot of articles about suggesting that they follow Ireland's footsteps in that direction, only just in the give people free fucking money to do finger painting direction.
Surging CO2 levels, a sign Canada must resist climate backsliding. A leading Canadian climate scientist says a new report showing planet-warming carbon dioxide levels have soared to record amounts in 2024 is the latest sign Canada must resist pressure to backslide on climate action. The world's meteorological organization, an annual greenhouse gas bulletin, says CO2 growth rate, which has tripled since the 1960s, reflects a combination of continued fossil fuel emissions and reduction in how much is absorbed in forests, oceans, and other natural carbon sinks.
So that's it's really interesting. That's not an absolute comparison. It's a relativistic one. When they say that the growth rate has tripled since the 60s. Well, first off, if something triples in 40, 65 years, If it doubles in 72 years, that's 1%. If it doubles in 72 years. If it quadruples in 72 years, that's about 2%. So this is somewhere between 1 and 2% of the growth rate. This isn't the amount of CO2 in there. It's intentionally misleading. They're not talking about how much CO2 is out there. The amount of CO2 that's going into the atmosphere has gone up somewhere between 1 and 2% over the past 60 years. And that is not at all what it sounds like they're saying. Watch for this. The intentionally misleading, looking at the smaller piece of it rather than what the actual whole is. You see it all the time in these scare articles.
Andrew Lawton. I'd like it noted I was fat in the private sector too.
Yes. So, oh shoot, I just accidentally closed it. But so some random Twitter account says you're fat. Maybe stop feeding at the public trough, you lying idiot. And then Andrew Lawton, very well said. This is one of the cleverest things I think I've ever seen a Canadian politician say. He said, I'd like it noted that I was fat in the private sector too. Well done, man.
Fireworks now illegal in Edmonton unless you're a professional.
How do you regulate that? What's a professional fireworker? Somebody who's impossible to dust for prints? You know, because they go off and have no more fingers.
Jessica Jonathan Yaniv Simpson arrest warrant while AI receives SFUBA. I don't know why I'm saying that, but arrest warrant issued for this person.
Jessica Yaniv. So you may remember the first time we talked about Jessica Yaniv on this show. It was when she filed a human rights complaint against a spa that refused to wax her balls. And then she got arrested for carrying a taser. Has been an absolute shit show. And now there's an arrest warrant out for her for failure to show up in court. So I think they've really got her by the balls in this time.
Yukon election. I think I have a tweet here. Here it is. One of the ridings where the Yukon Liberals failed to get a candidate is Klondike, an incumbent seat that was held by former Premier Sandy Silver.
This is genuinely interesting. Think about the implications of this. This is a seat that is currently held by the Liberals. Not only did the incumbent step down, and we've talked about this for a few weeks now, how the Liberals are incumbent in the Yukon, and they're still not, most of them aren't running again. So not only did the incumbent step down, but the incumbent seat isn't even going to have a Liberal vying to keep it. They couldn't get anybody. Like, just imagine if, I don't know, I'm in Olds, Didsbury, Three Hills. When the former Speaker of the House stepped down and they had that by-election. Like, the UCP were the people who won that seat before. Imagine that there was a by-election and they couldn't even find someone to try and win it. That's what this is in the Yukon with the Liberals. And I don't understand what is happening up there. But they're not running a full slate of candidates. They've got 3 seats that they're not even going to contest, including one that they're currently sitting in.
Portland judge finds car thief 1 bottle of Baja Blast Mountain Dew. I can't believe I read that. Anyways, there you go.
You read that correctly. It's in Portland, so there you go.
After years of progress on gender, the male gaze is back.
Yes. Apparently, CNN is disappointed with the fact that we all just suddenly remembered that hot chicks are hot. And so things like Sydney Sweeney with the good genes, things like that, we kind of went away from that for a few years. And now it's come back.
Yes. Okay. Climate pollution from inhalers has impact of 500,000 cars per year, study finds. Inhalers.
So all you asthmatic nerds out there,
Yes.
are
You're the
destroying the
problem.
planet. You are the problem. There is no planet B. So just get better lungs.
Donair. Okay, some Donair news. A 23-year-old King of Donair employee was arrested Wednesday night after what police called a lettuce outburst. Witnesses say the employee had been working the counter when a customer asked for lettuce on their Donair. After replying that they don't just slap salads on sacred meat, she allegedly hurled the menu at the customer and shouted, "What part of KOD don't you get? Keep off dainties." According to police, she grabbed a bottle of Donair sauce and squirted it in the customer's face. Other staff restrained her as she continued to accuse the customer of insulting the integrity of the Donair. She was arrested on charges of assault and reckless endangerment. The altercation drew so much attention that a nearby bystander called into a radio show, and less than an hour later, audio clips of the dressing spraying debacle went viral, turning the restaurant into talk of the town.
That's by far the coolest thing I think I've ever heard of happening in okay. Well, here's a funny personal anecdote. So, yeah, Opa, that place that does all the Greek wraps and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay, so there's one in Chinook Mall, and when I still lived in Calgary, I was in that mall one time, and I was hungry, and so I just stopped in to get something to eat. And so I was like, "Yeah, I'll get whatever wrap or whatever." And the girl says, and this is pretty much a direct quote. She says, "Do you want cheese with fuck, for fuck's sakes, fucking fuck? I've been working here for 6 fucking years, and I am so tired of asking every single person if they want fucking cheese." And then she got really scared, and she was like, "I am so sorry." And I was like, "Don't be. That's awesome." I'm like, I'm definitely getting cheese now.
Okay, I don't know what Twos has for happy news, folks, but I wanted to show this. I thought this was great. I don't know if anybody watched the baseball game last night, but
Series is tied 2-2 now.
Max Scherzer, he comes running out. I'm listening to Buck and them talk about it. If he goes running out, he hasn't made up his mind, and Scherzer sees him coming and gets to stay in the game, yells at him, and then strikes the guy out. That was perfect. 41-year-old Max Scherzer. That was pretty cool to watch.
Isn't it crazy to think about how like the oldest people who play professional sports are younger than us?
Yes.
Okay,
Look at him.
here's
I thought it was great.
Yep. All right.
They call him Mad Max Twos, and you could see it in his eyes.
Mhm.
Anyways.
Influencers, not news outlets or politicians, dominated election online, according to report. So they basically said that it was something 47% of the dialogue about the Canada's election came from social media influencers. News outlets were 28%, and politicians accounted for 18%. Interesting thing, they didn't note the coverage of the election, which I think would have been a big deal, because you had CBC, which beat everybody, and then the next 3 after that were something roughly like Rebel, Us, Juno.
That was a cool night.
That was a very cool night.
The election itself, that's what I mean. I assume people know that, but like when you have 88,000 people watching two schmucks
simultaneously, there was 500,000 people that tuned in that day.
Yeah, like that's pretty wild. That was a wild experience. We were hoping, I don't know, we were hoping, maybe 20,000. I don't know. And then it just kept going out. Remember, it was going up 10,000 every hour for a while. You're like, what is happening here? This is freaking insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We got a couple corrections. I forgot to do this. You want it out of here in a minute's time. What are you trying to do here?
Okay. Other happy news. Several Alberta families with transgender children say they may leave the province if Danielle Smith moves ahead with the notwithstanding clause. And Trump admin revokes visas for hateful posts about Charlie Kirk. No obligation to host foreigners who wish death to Americans. Go ahead, Sean.
A couple corrections. Jamie Sinclair texted me. I just had to send you a text about the alcohol in Ontario. Although they have private vendors, they still have to buy it from a province. and a province of Ontario doesn't buy Crown Royal, they can't sell it. And that's why there's no free trade in between provinces either when it comes to alcohol, because the provinces make money off the private vendors that sell to the people. And if you could just phone any alcoholic company in the world and order in what you wanted, it would cut the government rate out of their income. So I was saying, if you're a private company, you're cheering on the fact that they're not going to sell Crown Royal. And Jamie Sinclair pointed out that is false. Okay. And I didn't realize that. The other one was the foreign truck driver are a huge safety hazard, but the OPP story about the trailer missing tires is a story about the cops being total assholes, not safety. The trailer is prepped for sandblasting and painting. They removed inside duals and lift axles, mud flaps. There was no fines for the missing tires because it's not illegal. The fines were paperwork fines. Just an FYI. Anyways, there you go. There was 2 corrections we had off of last week. And then community notes. Okay, tomorrow I'm in Regina. I pretty much get out of here and head directly to Regina, the Prairie Rising Forum. So hopefully I'll see a few of you there for that. October 20th here is the elections in Alberta. So Shannon Hines was just on our blue collar, white collar roundtable. I know Tuesday's going to want to argue with me on that. Is running for school trustee, but we also got Drew McKay and a whole bunch of others that are running. Rue. Yes. Justin.
Justin Stevens.
Yep. Are all running. October 20th in your Alberta. Make sure you get out and vote. The 25th, next weekend, Saturday, is Prophet River's Customer Appreciation Day. Rod Giltack is going to be there for that. October 26th, the Sunday, is where we're shooting guns with Giltack, Prodnick, and Sinclair at the Lloydminster and District Fishing Game Association Indoor Range. Prophet River supplying the ammo for that. Quick Dick McDick is live November 22nd in Lashburn. That's a school fundraiser. The SNP Christmas Party, dueling pianos are back December 20th. I got 1 table left, dudes. 1 table. Who's out there who's been dragging their feet? 1 table. And then the Mash Bill comes January 17th to Kalmar, just west of the Edmonton International Airport. We have under 14 teams available left for that, so get your team in for that. Text me.
Yeah, and if you've never been to the Edmonton International Airport, it's quite a sight to see. You've got that weird kind of like crumpled up building that you can see from the highway. It looks like a woman with a medium build sat on it.
And then
Leanne says, see you there about Prairie Rising. You guys can commiserate about the fact that the Oilers lost to the Flames last week.
How the Flames been doing since then?
It's too early to tell, Sean.
Interesting. I think that's 4 in a row. Cornerstone, here's the big news for my end of the world for this week. Cornerstone Forum returns March 28th, and tickets are now on sale. So it's all in the show notes. You can text me if you can't find it, but showpass.com/cornerstone26. All the tickets available, early bird prices right now. Get your ticket, March 28th. We're 2 minutes over it. For your thanks for tuning in, folks. March 20th. Mashup 180. We're here every Friday, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Folks, thanks for hopping in with friends. For getting in with us and doing this. As always, we'll see you next week. Thanks again, folks, for being a part of it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Sean.
Did you want to finish off your sentence?
I said thanks, everybody.
Folks, we'll catch you next week.
Wrap it up.
We'll see you next.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Tell me whether I'm wrong or right. East or west, up or down, side to side. I sit to stand and fall to fly. Of all of my impulsive plans, pop and lock and salsa dances on demand. I follow leading off the map and stop the chatter, scream happily.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Welcome to the mashup. Welcome to the mashup.